Welcome to the extraordinary meeting of Snowy Valleys Council. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we meet today and pay my respect to their elders past and present. Apologies and leave of absence. We have an apology, leave of absence from Councillor Cox. Somebody move. Councillor Rata. Councillor Wright. In favour? Carried. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? No? Okay, move to governance and financial reports, 5.1. We have recommendations there on page 2. The recommendation is the Council endorses the following integrated planning and reporting strategies and plans and place on public exhibition for a period of 28 days, with submissions closing Friday, June 8, 2018. Number 1 is the draft Snowy Valley 2028 Community Strategic Plan. 2 is the draft Delivery Plan 2018-2021. Number 3 is the draft 2018-2019 Operational Plan with fees and charges. Number 4 is the draft Resourcing Strategy documents, including the draft Long-Term Financial Plan 2018-2028, incorporating the 2018-2019 operating budget, draft Strategic Asset Management Plan 2018-2028, and draft Workforce Management Plan. Somebody move. Councillor Smith, Councillor Benjamin. Councillor Smith, would you like to speak?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate the staff of Council in putting together an extremely comprehensive suite of documents and thank them for their hard work. I would encourage all residents to have a look at this suite of documents and think about the items carefully and comment appropriately as to if there's anything else that perhaps should be in there that isn't in there, and make their voice heard.
Thank you, Councillor Smith.
Could I just move that we go into committee, because there's a few items that I think probably need to be discussed in some detail.
Certainly. Thank you, Councillor Lara. Second, Councillor Ham. All in favour? Carried. We're in committee. Councillor Lara.
Just firstly, the China sword issue with regard to the waste services and the impact on the budget. Through the chair, is there any report on how that's going to affect us as a council and where we might be heading with that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. It's early days, but we're confident that our current waste levies and the fees and charges, which we're proposing to keep as they were with a 2.5% increase, will cover the shortfall. We're fairly well insulated with the current arrangements that we've got for our waste with the regional facility at Jugiong, but the staff are proposing to keep the fees and charges as they were, with a small increase to cater for the China fallout.
As I understand it, they're still taking the commodity, but at a 80% reduction in price.
Look, it's early days. Things are changing.
Daily.
Yeah. So I think we're confident that we're reasonably covered, but I think we should keep our fees and charges as they were, with that minor increase to cover that.
Wait and see. Thank you, Mr. Cox.
Just a further note on that. With regard to the green waste, we'd obviously asked for a report a little while back in regard to that. Has there been any progression there?
Yeah, we had that notice of motion late last year in relation to the green waste. It did go out in our community consultation, and the general consensus was there wasn't a great need for that, but we can look at a survey specifically around the green waste, and that's probably where we'd be heading with that. It's something that staff can look at in the future.
Mr. Christensen.
Further to Mr. Cox's comments, Mr. Mayor, we are developing a strategic business plan for the waste business. Part of that will be a discussion on what services we want to provide going forward, and then that will also lead into what fees and charges we're going to be levying the community. So out of that, we will need to undertake that survey to ascertain a need, because there will be an increased cost to it. some anecdotal research around the board on the recent Wagga Wagga City Council progression of it is that it is very time onerous process to be able to take out the contamination out of the green waste, and we will have to factor that cost into our operations. But I don't think there's any reason why we can't pursue it, but undertake it as a greater business plan rather than in isolation.
Thank you. Councillor Usman.
Mr Mayor, do you know, is there any change in the bulk recycling infrastructure going into the waste management side of Tumut?
Building wise or infrastructure wise?
Will we having a recycling plant or some sort of recycling?
Mr Christensen.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. We are currently constructing a building to house a high-speed container deposit scan counter.
Sorry, that's what I was
yeah, so we are constructing
That's
that.
still
But further than that, no, there isn't any proposed further development of recycling centre.
Just as a further note to that, could we just maybe get some clarification as to what happens with those containers now? There's obviously a refund involved. What the arrangement is with Valmar in regards to that return on that cost, or that money back to us?
I can provide that. I can provide that. It also will be, the strategic business plan will also talk about the commercial arrangements we have and possible future expansion of commercial arrangements with the waste collection that we're undertaking now.
So as it stands at the moment, if there's recycling and under that deposit scheme, who's getting that?
If I could, Mr Mayor, there's a current contract arrangement that's a 50-50 split after the operational costs are out. So at this point in time, it's split two ways, 50-50. But that contract's up for negotiation. So.
Right. Councillor Smith. Councillor Wright, sorry.
Yeah, I just wondered what was happening in Tumut with the recycling cans and bottles. What's going on there?
Yeah, if I could, Mr Mayor, we need to get back onto the private contractor who's been engaged by the state government to offer the service, and it's not for council to offer that service. There's an independent company that's been got the contract for all regional New South Wales, and they do need to offer that service in Tumbarumba, but at this point in time it hasn't been offered. But we can, from this meeting, chase that company up and find out where they're up to with that.
I can tell, last Thursday we met with Gabrielle Upton and mentioned it to her advisor. So yeah, it's still being progressed, but unfortunately nothing's happened.
A bit slow, doesn't it?
It's slow. It's slow. Councillor Ham.
Mr Mayor, if I could just speak about the childcare fees in the Snowy Valleys for Kakula Children's Centre. I'm not sure whether the council is aware, but there's a new Jobs for Family package being released on the 2nd of July. And looking at the fees here, they seem, from what's been in the past, they would charge for a full day, and now services have are mandated that they can charge in hourly rates, and Kakula have chosen to go with a minimum of 6-hour dailies. Looking at that, there were some concerns that the viability of Kakula would be affected if we didn't make the fees a little bit higher for the 2 to 3 year olds at $12.50 and the under 2 year olds at $13.50. And in saying that, for families to be affected, the childcare subsidy, which is going to replace the childcare benefit, is going to be greatly increased. So that should work out fine for families, I would hope. And with the before and after school care, there is the current fee is $21, and I propose that we take it up to $23. And the after school care at the moment is $27 to go up to $30. And once again, the increase in childcare subsidy for the majority of families, not for all, should cover that increase.
Thank you.
If I could comment on that, Mr Mayor. Yeah, since the documents have gone public on Friday, we have done another review, and we are in the Children's Services budget a little bit under budget, so I would endorse those changes that are proposed.
Thank you, Mr Cox. Further questions, discussion?
I've just got a few points to bring up from the long-term financial plan.
Sure. Page.
Okay. I'll start on page 15. And if it's okay with you, Mr Mayor, if I could direct them probably to Sarah. So there are probably more explanations and everything like that. Sarah, I just note that the income for swimming pools is, around 250,000, but we now have free swimming pools.
Mr Mayor, as this year we had 3 entry, that was to be reviewed at the end of this season. So we put the fees and charges in there and the income in the long-term financial plan to cover next year's expected income. But we can, I think there's a report coming to council to determine whether that review and whether we have them as free entry again or not before the 30th of June.
And a little bit further down in parks and sporting grounds, the income drops from 3 million, at the end it's 7,000. So why would that be over 3 years?
That is because of the Tumbarumba Rail Trail. That's the grant funding. So the first year is 3.2 million and the second year is 1.7 million. You can see in the capital funding report as well.
Okay. And I'll ask Matt this one. The Tumbarumba Dam upgrade, what does that mean?
Through the Chair, the project is an indication that we need to undertake some works to the wall structure itself. This is to ensure, whilst there's no risk at the moment, there is a future risk that there could be failure if we don't undertake some strengthening works.
So what happened in 2011 or 12 doesn't happen?
Yeah, so we currently have some grant applications forward with some state agencies, and if we have some success with that, we'll move forward with the project.
What sort of grant would you be asking? Like through what body?
It's through the Office of Water. It's the Safe and Secure Water Resources Program.
And that grant has been applied for?
It says.
Successfully?
No, sorry, it's been applied for. It's only been applied for the last week.
Okay. Thank you. Further questions? Yeah?
Sorry, Sarah, but to page 19 at the end, the wastewater fund cash flow statement. Just looking in 10 years, how come it goes up and down so much? What's happening there?
Basically, that's due to the cash flows from investing activities, which is your capital expenditure. So in the second last year, the 26-27 year, we're spending 2.7 million. So that's sort of why it's dropping for that particular year.
And how do you know we're spending 2.7 million? What's happening?
So they have a 30-year plan for water and sewer,
okay.
wastewater. Sorry.
Okay, that's great.
And the next question?
I noticed with roads on page 21, capital works program by department, and this may be for you, Matt, I'm not sure, but road surface renewal just stays the same for the whole 10 years. Surely that won't be the case.
Mr. Pear, it's a budgetary figure, so road surface renewals may not be just road pavement, the road seal, sorry, it might be the road pavement, it might be some other ancillary works. When you look at, so it really is a forecast figure, so any balance of that will either be directed to reserve for future needs,
Right.
so for the following year. So
Does that happen?
sometimes. It depends. When you have a look at the strategic asset management plan, it'll give you an indication of the peaks and troughs of when we're expecting, and this is the important word, expecting, to have to undertake the renewals. If we have a large peak coming, we need to be able to have the money to put forward to that, and we may direct money into reserves for the years prior to that peak to cover off on that.
Because really, I get that and understand that, but over a 10-year period, you really would expect that to go up.
Yes, subject to available funding. I mean, if we don't have the income to pay for it, it may not go up.
Okay. That's fair share. Thank you. Mayor.
Thank you. Excellent question. Does anyone have any questions? Councillor Pritchard?
Just a fact about the rates. I was wondering how many organisations in this show are rate exempt. What I'm getting at is Velma was given rate exemption some years ago when it was in the formative stage. Now it's a major business across many shires. I was wondering whether we give them rate relief or not, or whether we should reimpose the normal rates.
I think, I'm not sure, but I think we're legally obliged because they're a charity.
Yeah, but the answer says it's a charity too, and that gets rated. There are many other charities in the organisation which are rated.
Maybe we need to do a charity audit.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
it's because they're a public benevolent institution, similar to a hospital. That's why they're exempt.
Is that the same
Not because
in
they're
all
a charity, it's because they're a public benevolent.
Public benevolent.
Is that our policy or is it state government policy?
It's a local government.
So that's under the Act. They are,
I can confirm that, but
if you wouldn't mind doing. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Pritchard. Is that all? Anything further? Someone like to move we go out of committee? Councillor Risselman, Councillor Wright. All in favour? No. Okay. Yes. So we'll have some changes from that discussion there. So the mover and seconder are happy to have those changes with the wording with the following amendments to the fees and charges schedule. Councillor Smith, you happy with that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Benjamin? So, yeah.
And if I could, Mr. Mayor, there's some the revenue policy which is tied to the operational plan. There's some minor amendments to align with the fees and charges, so we can.
Can you go through those now?
They just relate to the waste charges, so they're correct in the fees and charges document, but they're not aligned in the operational plan. So
Can you relay them to Amanda, please?
yeah, or do we just move a resolution that righto?
They be aligned.
Yeah, that they align, which would be fine. Or I can list them out. There's a few to list out. Righto. So in the operational plan, domestic waste was at 405. Now it's 423.
Just got to type them in so we can just
Slow down. So these are on page 49 of the operational plan in the revenue policy, and they relate to the fees and charges, which would be on page. So the fees and charges for waste are on page 24 of the fees and charges. So at the moment there's a discrepancy between the two. So domestic waste 405, it should be 423. 423.
For a moment I thought it was going down.
And then commercial waste, it was 480, it goes to 5001. And the school waste was at 380, it's 401. And then in the waste levy goes back to 51, or remains at 51. It's correct in the fees and charges, just needs to be amended in the operation. And that relates to the former Tumut Shire.
Through the chair, the first few, is there any difference between the two ends? Does that need to refer to a particular area, the commercial waste charges.
They relate to the former Tumut Shire.
Okay, so we need to add that in as well. So the fees and charges on domestic waste, 405 to 423 in the Tumut Shire. Former Tumut Shire. Thank you. And same for the next 4 ones. And the childcare services. Page
16. So in the green room, it's $12 at the moment, going up to $13.50. Gum nuts, it's $12 up to $12.50. Tumbush before school care is going from $21 to $23, and after school care from $27 to $30.
That's all. Mr. General Manager, some clarification?
Councillors, following these amendments, we will make those before they actually go out on public consultation. So these documents will be amended, so when the public get to see them, they don't have to worry about these amendments. They will already be in place in those documents.
That being the case, Mr Mayor, will these documents be available as of today, or will there be a publication time lag and therefore the 28 days won't start until those publications are ready?
They'll be available on the web from...
We'll need to send it back to the graphic designer.
So, thank you, Councillor. That's a very good point.
They'll be available from... So how many extra days do we have space in the...
Quite. We've got plenty of time.
Okay, so there's some time space in there, so they'll still be available for the regulated 28 days, and we'll have those changes made.
From the date
Can
they're
I
available.
compliment the graphic designer? Looks great.
Thank you very much. Any further? Anyone speaking against? Councillor Smith, you were close to that?
No, nothing particular to add to that, excepting that it's been good to just have a bit of discussion about it and make sure that what we're putting out is what people are going to see and going to comment on, and I look forward to getting good response from the community.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. So the recommendations there, as read before, with those additions, put the motion all in favour. Against? It's carried unanimously. Thank you very much, everyone. That concludes the meeting.